Have you ever been asked a question about what you do or what your business does, and the curse of knowledge kicks in?
Creative, it's media, it's technology, data sciences, really connecting everything and bolstering it.
We're about to take a look at an episode of Gary Vaynerchuk's new show called Coffee and Commerce, and we're going to find out why Gary gets involved and has to tell the story of the new business.
Let me turn what Zubin just said into English that normal people can understand.
Gary recognizes that this isn't as clear as he could be. Let's take a look at why he stops him and why he clarifies what he's saying.
Actually, Zubin, Robbie, how would you describe what VaynerCommerce does? Let's start there and then we'll go to the origin story.
Yeah, so VaynerCommerce is a full funnel growth engineering firm. So
as Zubin starts, he introduces himself with two ers. Not the best way to start, but I know he's going to tell us something technical next. And he starts off using a technical term that maybe not everybody who's listening understands. A funnel is a very wide concept. For some people, they're going to immediately know how it relates in commerce. For others, they won't know. So let's carry on.
So we're focused on the entire funnel, acquisition, conversion, retention, etc., across retail, across online, and helping
the entire funnel acquisition, retention program, if I heard him correctly. He's saying a lot of technical buzzwords that sound great, but listening, I still don't understand what this new business is, what Gary's investing in, and what this entire team is working with. So let's see if we get any more clues.
Online and helping brands basically navigate that path and find sustainable growth across that. Whether it's creative, it's media, it's technology, data sciences, really connecting everything and bolstering it.
So that sounds good. He did that in actually quite a concise way. It wasn't very long. He could have gone on for minutes, but he kept it concise. Unfortunately, we heard of a lot of knowledge buzzwords. And as a result, I still don't feel I fully understand what's happening. Gary is now going to throw the conversation to one of his other colleagues here, Robbie, and let's see what happens. We're going to zoom in a little bit to the mind of Gary and see when he realizes, I don't think my audience has fully understood what this new business is. I need to clarify this. And let's see the difference here.
Robbie?
I think Zubin covered it pretty well, but in terms of
and you can see Gary's face here. He's saying, all right, but there's something churning in his head, and we know Gary's going to give it to us straight in a second.
I guess to connect what Zubin just mentioned in the first meeting, though.
Actually, before we go there, let me turn what Zubin just said into English that normal people can understand.
He had to go there. I'm going to turn it into English here. Obviously, Ruben is going to cover himself a little bit thinking, oop, did I make a mistake? Zubin didn't. I apologize, I said your name incorrectly there. But Zubin didn't make a mistake in what he said. It was just too technical. And Gary wants to clarify it.
Thank you.
So VaynerCommerce builds commerce sites for people that want to sell things, makes them better when somebody else built them if they're all up. And also, and most importantly, we've lived through a huge era where people have used Facebook and Instagram and other media outlets to get customers to your website, and then they buy something and you've got a business. The problem is most people don't have their economics.
So immediately there, he's given us some examples, and this is a golden takeaway. If you just give your audience the technical jargon, immediately your audience is going to think that doesn't relate to me. As soon as you put your audience in a position of an example, they start to learn. So he says, if you've got an e-business, so immediately I'm thinking, do I have an e-business here? Are there some services that I could use? He's got my attention. I'm going to think more.
Economics, right? They don't realize how much money they're losing on shipping. They don't think about packaging and messaging on the shipping.
So immediately my mind's now thinking packaging, messaging, the cost of shipping. Ooh, this could help me out here. I wonder how. I'm already relating the technical jargon that Gary's saying, but it's so simple to understand, and I can think how it relates to my business.
They don't realize that 4,000 landing pages is better than one if their ads match up and they have the ability to produce that much content and creativity. Even on the ads and content, they don't realize that a lot of variations of creative will drive down your CAC, customer acquisition cost.
Now that's a perfect example. He gave a CAC, and if we didn't understand what a CAC was, he's immediately able to jump in with what the acronym is. So important. If you start speaking jargon acronyms, don't expect everybody to understand.
We've assessed the space for a long time. Ben and I have been in Zoom at some level. All of us have pretty much been in our entire careers, because even since I've been running Vayner, I've always got one big eye on winelibrary.com. Email marketing, CRMs, truly understanding the cost of the media or the creative or what's actually driving your business, and then truly thinking about lifetime value. No business, take away e-commerce, a restaurant, a farmer, somebody selling.
Now he's giving you more details. He's making you see a restaurant, a farmer. He wants to give you examples to make sure you understand how this is applicable to you.
Stones 200 years ago. If your whole business was only based on having somebody only shop with you once, you got a up business. So sustainable strategies. So what VaynerCommerce does, if you're watching right now, for the less than 1% that might consider working with VaynerCommerce, there's a consulting side where we literally look at your business, sit down for weeks, come up with better ideas, tell you how to do it, and then potentially either do it for you on the building out or doing stuff, or you take that and do it internally, or you do it with somebody else. And then there's the building and tech side where we build things from day one. Like you're ready to, you're on some janky system that wanted to prove out the concept, and you want to build on top of a platform. And so that's what it does. And so thinking and doing at the macro. So Robbie, first story.
You can see there, Gary gave enough of examples that people could understand as close as possible, does this relate to me? So takeaways here. Anytime somebody asks you what you do, make sure you remove any of the jargon speak and be sure to explain with an example of how this relates to the audience that you're working with.